All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Cardboard. We're here for another roundtable. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about our all-time favorite card sets or series. Hopefully get to show you some of those and talk about them a little bit and why we love them so much. So with that, I'm going to start with Drew because I feel like that's tradition these days. So you want to give us a go here, Drew?
Yeah, I could definitely do that. So this is difficult. My first real reintroduction to ripping a ton of cards was 90s hoops and really Skybox. Those are those two sets I really enjoyed. But recently, the one set that me, JV, and Shooty, I have to represent for them because they're not here, is the Hidden Fates.
Oh yeah,
Hidden Fates Pokemon. So Pokemon is, for me, it's one of my favorite things to open just because it's so outlandish and so different. And for me, it's really nostalgic because I grew up probably right at the peak of Pokemon going into the newer generation. So I'm familiar with the classic 151 and the newer iterations. And I do have a cool card. I have the Charizard, which is, probably the most sought after modern card. I don't have any Charizards on my person, but I plan on buying a few of those. I have some Blastoise and really Pokemon in general. But for modern sets, it's been Hidden Fates. But just overall, in general, finding the Pokemon, finding the original sets. I know I saw you did a Pokemon break the other day just for the heck of it.
Oh yeah, I went after it, man.
It's just fun. It's refreshing
so
and
much
fun. It's not some huge grind where you're trying to pull a Herbert, you're trying to pull a Jaw, you're trying to pull a Zion. You're dang, I got a Mewtwo. Dang, I got something that looks like a cat. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting a bunch of really refreshing content that's not sitting there banging your head against the wall, mindlessly ripping packs, hoping for rookies. I imagine Nick got some of that with the Fortnite. It's just something really different. And so for me, that's been the most fun I've had recently, and I would say that's going to be my favorite set of all time at the moment.
I gotta say, I agree with the enjoyment of the Pokemon ripping. I've gotten a little crazed with it myself. My wife's made me calm down a little bit because my kids love the base cards. They just like the art and the original.
Well, you hit the Charizard the other day, and it's a magical experience. That really makes you feel like a kid.
Oh yeah,
it literally took my breath away. I was like.
You can hit a base Jaw and you're like, oh, cool, I hit a Jaw. You hit a Herbert, you're like, oh, nice, I hit a Herbert. You hit a Charizard, you're like, yo.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean, I had opened all those packs too, that whole stack I had opened. It was the second to last pack, and I hit it. I was just I had completely given up hope on hitting them. So yeah, I was very thrilled. All right, you get to pass it on.
Oh man, let's go with Ryan.
All right. So my favorite set of all time was 2016 Studio basketball. I absolutely loved that set. It was one of the first sets that I kind of actually collected the whole thing. I didn't, not of all players. But you all know my love for the downtowns. I love the 16 and 16 Studio is where it all started with this card. And so they did 20 of them, and this was number one, of course. I feel like the set was made for Curry. So as a Steph Curry collector, it was definitely one of my favorite sets of all time. They also had another one of my favorite insert sets too, the sketch cards, the Studio sketch. And this one's of Curry. It has Durant in the background too, which is pretty fun. And these cards, I want to get this signed one day. These cards are beautiful in person. They look like Italian marble. They look really, really cool. So yeah, that set I got, I opened up that one, and I just ended up collecting all of the downtowns from there on out. And I can plan to continue. That set started a huge thing for me. So my favorite set, if you will, is the downtown cards, but it all started with 16 Studio.
Yep. And they moved those to 1-1 now, right?
It was it was Cornerstones for 2 years and then 1-1. And I don't know where they're going to go with it next. They went with Donruss for a lot of them. So I was curious if they would ever do a retail iteration. It'd be kind of fun to go and try to find some retail, but at the same time, it's pretty expensive. nowadays to get retail. But yeah, even when 16 Studio came out, it didn't sell very well. It was like 75, even like down to 60, $55 a box at most places. And now it's like, $450, $500, $600 a box. So it's pretty crazy, but it's definitely my favorite set of all time.
I was going to say, raise your hand if you remember like 2016 when some products were cheaper than they were on release.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
most of the time it was like most of the time they would go down. Like unless there was some sort of like hyped thing, like hyped big pull cards or something like that. Like I remember. I feel like most of the time you could wait a couple months and it would kind of just slowly teeter down a little bit.
Yeah. Back when blowout cards used to actually give good deals on Black Friday, they did. You could get. They did a really good sale on 16 Studio that year during Black Friday, and I got like a half a case for like $400. It was crazy.
Yeah, you know what I remember. I think the first case I bought that like when I thought like it was a big deal. It is still a big deal to get a case, but like I was getting like 2012, 13 like past and present like cases from just like a couple $100. It was wild. It was like 20 boxes for like less than $100 a box.
That it's funny you say that. That was actually the last one I remember being a cheap box in 2019 cheap. At the National.
Way cheap.
That past and present was still cheap. That was like
it was hard to pull good quality stuff though. No, I'm not gonna lie.
Except I don't know that it was because I just went back through mine. There's so many cool, unique inserts.
There are like there's a ton of like good mixture of like base cards and stuff. Like there's good value in it, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But like back then, I was like a big auto collector, and I didn't really care much about the other stuff.
Oh, the auto chart was terrible.
The autos were so bad. I think in one of my cases, the best auto was like a Magic Johnson sticker auto.
I opened 2 boxes that year at the National, and it was Harold Miner, and it wasn't Jack Sikma, but it was someone like that were my 2 autos.
And most of them were really bad legends. Like who? Like why?
Awesome. Well, if I have a choice to pass it, I'll just pass it right here. Get this guy out of the way.
How predictable.
All right. So, this one was hard for me because I'm a sporadic collector. I see something of my favorite player, like. Like I have a lot of different sets for Derek Carr or like some of the open A's or some of the bigger stuff. I almost thought about like 54 tops for some of the iconic rookies and stuff. But then I found I do have a collection of 1968 tops, which is really, I've had these. I'll show you the box. So this was when I started collecting. When I very first started collecting, I had this box that I wrote, I don't know if you see it. Yeah, Justin's Cards. So this is my very first PC box that I ever had. And I then rebranded it to the 1968 tops. And so this like the whole box and the whole thing. I have the mantle. I have like a bunch of the stars. I got Pete Rose to sign the 1968. But the only one I'm missing really is like the bench and the Ryan, but I bought the Ryan and then it went up so much. I was like, I can just, it wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, this is extremely rare. It was one of those things where like, oh, I could pay for the entire rest of the cards that I have, and it just worked out. But I have some really high grade ones as well. Like this is a Catfish Hunter, and this is it's really sharp.
I love that set design, man. The simplicity of it.
Yeah, and I like the yellow backs too. They really pop.
The border looks like a tweed jacket.
Yeah, but I have a lot of the set, and then a bunch more in card savers for the ones that are nice. But this was like the first set that I really collected, and so I figured probably like when I look through old bins or when I see old cards, if I see a 68 tops, it kind of, means something to me. So I was like, yeah, if I had to go for my all-time favorite set, it would be 1968 Topps baseball.
That's awesome. The only card I have of 1968 Topps, which is really random that I even have one of those, is a Willie McCovey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it would be actually rad if I could find it. I think it might actually still be at my dad's house, but my dad was a pilot, so he used to like see random athletes in the freaking airport, or he'd like fly them places. And so he saw Willie McCovey, or he knew he was going to be flying Willie McCovey I guess like people would tell him ahead of time. And he would always like find a baseball or find like a card if he could, like at a nearby card shop. And I have that card signed and it says like to Matthew on it.
Oh, that's really cool. You should
Willie McCovey.
throw a picture of that in the group chat if you can.
I know, I would love to actually. If I can, well, I definitely don't have it here. I think it's at my dad's house, but if I can edit it to the video, I'll definitely do that. It's a cool card. It's like you probably have it in your little set there. So it's like definitely I think it was like when I was young, it was like the oldest card I had. So it was like
okay, nice. Well, the power that I have is growing. Let's see. I'm gonna pass it to Jimmy. I want to hear Jimmy's story.
Oh man, talk about an impossible question. Do I get like a senior citizen? Can I choose two? Can I?
I mean, I think everybody's willing to listen to you talk for a while, honestly.
So this is really hard, but I think I was utterly unprepared and didn't bring them home. But I've been in another country, so I would say
light flex.
Every episode. Also.
Hey, no. Well, actually, now I do see one. It would be a light flex. Anyway, I hope you all know me. I'm not a flexor. So, to me, that 53 tops. So you all are too young for this, probably, except for a couple of y'all. But you ever heard of Book It?
Yeah.
It was a program where you used to, if you read books, you get a check mark, and then Pizza Hut would give you personal pan pizzas.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was like
just blew my mind.
Extraordinarily literate fat kid because of that program. Like ridiculous. And I just tore through books as a kid, and I just Cookie Monster and personal pan pizzas. But one of the books I read was on Satchel Paige, and I was 11 years old, 12 years old, and I was like, this is unbelievable. I want a Satchel Paige card. Well, even back then, not very cheap to get a Satchel Paige card because he really only has 48 Leaf rookie, which is ridiculous now, 49 Bowman, and 53 tops. And then the rest are all but that was the only ones when he was playing. So the 53 tops was the prettiest card I'd ever seen. And I'm like, I'm going to get this set. I'm going to do it. And I started mowing lawns and doing all that and getting like Johnny Mize or like, just commons. And it's funny because I got to the point later on in life where I could finish it faster, but I took my time and I finished this set. I saved Satchel for last and Mantle for last. Mantle then Satchel. Like, for instance, my groomsmen at my wedding gave me the Willie Mays. And I finished the set when I was 38 at the National. And it was crazy. I was like, I'm going to pick the right person that I'm going to buy it from. And I found like this little shop from Indiana that had a booth there. And they were like an all-family shop. And I went and got the last two. So 53 tops, kind of like what you were saying with like whenever you see them, like your heart jumps. And I think that to me is my favorite. I think of the more modern stuff. To me, my favorite is this. Your 2012-13 National Treasures.
Oh, yeah.
Or
and I like it for a couple of reasons. One, that's an RPA.
Yeah, there you go.
That's an RPA, but so is that. And they're wildly different, but I think they're beautiful. And then that's an RPA. The acetate. I'm sorry, it's too bright. And then that's an RPA. Like, I just, right. And I think they're gorgeous. And for that year, that was when I could first really start affording to get a high-end box. Of course, we're coming off a national championship, and I've got 6 Kentucky guys in that set. And it's like, I'm going to get somebody that I love. And it's the dual rookie class. So you're going to get other good guys. And like, there's so many cool options in that set. And I picked up most of my Kentucky guys from that. The only one I'm missing is like that acetate Anthony Davis, which is funny. The Channels brothers will appreciate this. I was offered the Anthony Davis acetate RPA rookie, number to this jersey number, for the Steph Curry RPA when both of them were at a 10K card. And normally, like, I just jump on that. and I still don't have that AD. But for some reason, I was just like, I just think this kid's gonna be special. I'm just gonna hold on to Steph.
Yeah, that's probably pretty smart.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
And then the other cool thing is, here's one close to it. It's not 2012-13, but it's close.
Yeah, I mean, I love those. And that's like right when I started getting back into collecting, honestly.
Yeah, I love them. And this is cool because this actually wasn't released in a set, but it's Panini, and they had sent a bunch to Cal. He's got the tie on from his induction ceremony, and that's what the tie is.
Oh, wow.
That's really
the Hall of Fame. And actually, this is from, they do this with some guys. They'll give them personalized cards, and he gave it to me. He gave me because he heard about it. So there's my light flex for the night. That was really cool. So when we opened up, he sent that over, which was awesome.
I was at the national championship game, Jimmy, that Kentucky championship game. That was the first Final Four game or final national championship I've ever been to.
Oh, I wish I had been there. I was actually recovering from surgery and couldn't go, but I got a few things from that game. A couple things.
Yeah, it was we work with Turner Sports. So, I've worked every Final Four since. But yeah, that was our first one. It was.
Dude, do you realize that Louisville, Kentucky game, the state was ripping itself apart?
Oh, I know. I have friends from Kentucky, and I know what they were going through. And honestly, the crowd was so intense in that stadium. Oh, it was really awesome.
I mean, you can imagine what ESPN would do if Carolina and Duke ever played each other.
Oh, it was wild. I mean, it was honestly wild.
And it was
there's never a bad Final Four, but that was definitely a special one for sure.
Oh, it was killer.
I think I have some pennants and some shirts and stuff from that. Because I the first time I ever work an event, especially one of those big ones for the first time, I always go so ham on merchandise and stuff. So because I never know if I'm going to be back, So I was like, oh, my first Final Four, I bought everything they had.
Dude, I was on eBay that night, buy it now.
I definitely have the UK national championship shirt from that night.
Let's go. I actually got a really special thing for you that I showed the Channels brothers when they were in town. I just got to ship it out. It's
no, I'm not going to be able to
card that I gave in. They're trying to remember. Yeah. So
it's actually kind of funny you say that because now that I'm starting to learn you guys as collectors and everybody, I'm starting to put little piles of things aside for each of you guys. It's
I guarantee you don't have it.
Yeah, well,
I guarantee.
I'm probably right.
All right, let's go to my man Murph.
All right. Okay. So with all due respect to Duncan Go Nuts from 98 and Project 2020, I'm going 1920 Donruss basketball. And more specifically, the Marvel set. So I actually got into collecting last year, and this was the first thing that we went all in together was 1920 Donruss basketball. And the first pack she opened, there was who was it? It was a Nikola Jokic Marvel card. And she was just oh my goodness, I have to have the set. And so we bought box after box after box when Donruss basketball was $220 last March. Right. And we were way more into it financially than we should have been, but we had to finish the set. And fortunately, Ryan at Card Collector 02 sent us to Zion to complete the Marvel set. So that was super awesome of him. And I love the blue.
Yeah.
I mean, just
look at that big, beautiful card.
Yeah. This will probably end up in Lexington one day. I know it's nothing, but still. But yeah, just 1920 Donruss basketball. There's a lot of sentimental value, in it for me. Last year was the first year she spent more on cards than I did.
He's a keeper.
Well, if she's spending money on cards, that means I can't. So we'll revisit all that.
Next episode.
But legit, Duncan Go Nuts too. Also, if I could do an old school, I mean, the Tim Thomas Duncan Go Nuts card is just iconic, and so we'll always stand for Vince Carter and MJ Duncan Go Nuts.
Yeah. Those are super cool.
Sleeper is the Jam Masters.
Yes. You got the green LeBron back, right? Today?
Oh no, I was what's the original one?
Oh, the original Jam Masters.
The original ones.
Yeah. Okay.
They got the Schmuckers on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first card I ever fell in love with was the Kobe the Kobe Jam Masters.
Yeah, it's so nuts because growing up, I never had like Dunkin' Go Nuts or anything like that. I was strictly an MVP triple play kind of baseball card collector, or $5 550 count box flea market guy, where 300 of the cards were Bill Romanowski and then the other 200. So I don't remember those sets, but I fell in love with Dunkin' Go Nuts last year, and I was man.
Yeah.
Let's start. So Cooley.
All right, so mine is a set that kind of really is what I got back when I got back into collecting. Kind of was in 07-ish, but I didn't have a hobby shop locally, so all I had was retail. And then once I moved to Columbus to start in pharmacy school, there were hobby shops there, and I could go and, learn more about the products and everything and kind of see what all was out there. And in 13-14, they made Court Kings. And that was my favorite set. I bought cases, boxes, like whatever I could get. And then it exploded when Giannis exploded, because that's where the next day autos were. And so that set was kind of a chaser set for me. I just love the aesthetics of the cards. So one of my, as you guys know, there's been a lot of stuff come and go from my collection. Those guys that have followed me for a long time know that, I've kind of shifted focus for a long time. I've had these cards that I'm about to show y'all since 2013, and they won't go anywhere. This is the set that kind of really kickstarted me getting back into it and kind of whatever. But one of the cards that I pulled, numbered to 10, Scottie Pippen.
Oh, yeah.
So one of that card to me is just one of the it's a perfect card.
Is that Blazers or is that Rockets?
I'm sorry, it's Bulls.
Oh, it's Bulls. Oh my gosh, that's sick as hell.
Yeah, Bulls game use patch auto. So I pulled that, myself. Probably one of my favorite cards that I've ever pulled.
Man, that's a monster.
So and then also some of the cool things that were in it were the box topper autos.
Yes.
Birdman.
Getting these the on card, and they were all great players. The Dikembe was the first one that I pulled. I actually think from one of the first boxes that I opened. So just everything about these cards really hooked me into this set. Even the basic stuff, this card's numbered to 149, Kawhi relic, game used relic auto. And it's still just a fantastic card. So that set to me is just timeless. And it really kind of set stuff off because, like I said, that was the next day autos. That set erupted when Giannis did, because everybody was I had his base rookie that was to 149 or 199 or something crazy like that. It was the first card that I sold for $500. I'd never sold a card for $500 before. I was what is this? Why is this? I didn't know it. I freaked out. And I was but those cards right there are untouchable. I will not let those go. And that set, the first box break that I ever did of a hobby box, I did with one of my friends locally named Jordan. You guys see him going back and forth with me on Twitter all the time, giving me crap about posting about Skylar Diggins and stuff. And the first break we ever did, I did 2 boxes of Court Kings. And just from there, it kind of exploded for me.
I remember you were buying cases of that stuff. I
was buying cases. I was buying boxes. There was a time I think you could get them for about $70 a box. And now, if you can even find them, they're actually more than that. But it's just a beautiful set. And it's definitely my favorite. The Court King set I still love, to this day, that Origins, that kind of design I always enjoy. But that's the set for me that's my favorite set of all time.
It's a great pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll pass it off to Chaz, even though I think I know what this answer is going to be. I still want to hear it.
I'm so predictable. Well, yeah, definitely going to be 91, 92 Skybox, guys. So I'm trying to figure out how to. So most of the common stuff, I'm old school. I've straight kept it in a binder since I was a kid. So there's, let's see, there's 594 in the set. So, and I'm up to 446 signed. So, I mean, these are all signed.
That's
91.
incredible, dude.
92.
That's
That
awesome.
is seriously one of the most incredible things.
So that's
I need another dive too.
so as you know, I'm a grapher, but I told the story about that's my favorite set my mom used to buy, but that's like all the cards I ever had. So when I started getting autographs, that's the only cards I had. So it was either get them on a piece of paper or those cards. But then, so I know I talked about grading earlier, but I got some of them slabbed just because they're cool. But there's the bird, obviously you guys have seen that one. Charles Barkley, obviously I'll send some of these photos. Hakeem Drexler, this is the classic one to me as a kid. But on the back, he's like signing an autograph for a little kid, and I always loved that. But the pictures are just great. And I feel like Skybox was, I know Mooch, we've talked about this, the first to just do like graphics or, something other than basic. Obviously it had, the other thing about 92 is the dream team. So, I mean, I got some Barkley, I got Bird in there. I got Coach K.
That's the best set.
I know not a lot of people are fans of it, but I like the coaches cards in there. So there's Phil Jackson. I'm a fan of that kind of stuff.
The graphics in the back too, like the X's and O's behind Phil. Like how cool is that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Some of the other Manute Bull, I meant just players that are no longer with us too, are Reggie Theus. And then the subset ones, those are the really hard to get signed because obviously if they do have signed ones, it's usually the base, but nobody really gets the subset. So I'm out there getting those signed.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I got slabs of anybody and everybody.
Oh my Lord.
The other, I love this part of it. The GQ, they had the GQ subset, would have two people, Dominique, Kevin Willis, the Hakeem, GQ.
Oh my God.
But I got a ton of those. So hopefully one day it'll be like, just I have the whole set on the wall signed is my dream to somehow frame that. And
who are some of the big ones that you're missing?
There's obviously one, right?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Yeah. And he has like 6 or 7 in the set. So that's going to be.
Oh my.
I don't know if you guys remember the Rare Air book, but he's like actually signing some cards on a table for a UD thing. But there's a Skybox card there that he's signing. And I'm like, I'm sure it'll be like 10 grand and I'll have to do something.
Well, that's the question, because he's exclusive with Upper Deck. Like, does he literally, is it like the scene in Jerry Maguire where he's like,
Yep. Well, so we'll see. I mean, I doubt it's out there, but you never know. So
man,
that's my set.
Are there any other hurdles? Any other challenges? Like I know,
a grapher. Patrick Ewing's not the nicest guy, so I'll probably have to buy that. He doesn't really sign autographs, so but luckily he's with Steiner.
Well, I think I might have some of those signed. Like,
shut your mouth, Mooch. You better hook it up.
No, I swear to God, I'm not even joking. I think I have a Pippin.
So I have the base card, but that's about the only one.
I think it is the base card. It is the.
You have Rex Chapman.
I got a couple, but he has a few. I think he has a few in the set because he has one of the dunking ones, like the cityscape ones. Yeah.
I could help with that if you needed one.
My guy, Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you know I'll go through my set lists and see what I have. But definitely, I would love Rex Chapman.
Kentucky dudes, let me know because like Rex has come in the shop a couple times. Like he's a nice dude.
That's what's up. He's the man on Twitter for sure.
Yeah, he's a trip.
I was gonna say the craziest part is you had to pick the 659 card basketball set.
Well, that's how it was back in the day. You guys know there was Series 1 and Series 2, and there's like 300 cards in each one. So, so that's what half of them are, or not half, but a lot of them are like team cards, checklists.
I mean, that's
random
still
things that don't need to be signed, but
that's still a significant amount of every roster. Like that's a significant amount of every roster. Like that's almost every player.
What was
That's why I love
Especially
it
back
for
then, because they
draft.
weren't carrying like 15 guys back then. They were carrying like 10, 12 max.
Right.
what was the
Right.
first one you had signed?
That's a great question. I'm almost guaranteed it was Blazers. So I would say somebody like Mark Bryant, Jerome Kersey, TP, Terry Porter, any of those guys, that generation.
I love that squad.
Definitely. Yeah.
Jerome Kersey, good. Rest in peace.
Duckworth, another RIP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a great set, man. Honestly, you're making me want to rip that box you sent me. I still have it sealed up, but that makes me want to rip it so bad.
And they sign great. I mean, graphics
Oh, they do.
usually
It's
have to
perfect.
like
Yeah.
erase or put baby powder on cards. They're butter. So yeah. Who hasn't gone yet? Ivan, my guy Ivan. Let's do that.
Hey guys, where did I put my card? I was moving stuff
They're
around.
behind you.
Yeah. Here we go. No, this is because apartment living in LA. Kids room is back there. The shipping department is right here in my house. My day job is right here. So a little bit of the fake background just to look good. But
I mean, honestly, I take a lot of my work Zoom calls from a bed. So
yeah.
Yep.
This is the actual, like we're all friends here.
reality.
Yeah.
The grand.
So for the general aesthetics of the video, we can go back to the other one, but I did want to make sure, that fake background doesn't
Oh yeah.
let you showcase cards the same. So my set is 2014 Bowman. I could talk about this set. I have so many stories about this entire set. It's crazy, but it starts with Chris Bryant. It actually starts in 2013 when I became an old man, and I'd gotten back into card collecting in about 2011, but football mainly. And as a kid, I'd shifted in the strike year. I shifted from baseball into football. And then I just loved football for like 10 years, collected it, played fantasy football, so on and so forth. Got back into collecting football in 2011. But for some reason in 2013, one day I turned old and I said, you know what? I'm going to follow baseball again this year, like really follow baseball. And that exact day I went to Baseball News, and the first article I saw was about the draft happening the next day and talking about the Cubs, my team, may pick this guy that hits home runs. And if you know the Cubs throughout history, they never draft the big slugger. They always draft the on-base guy or the starting pitcher. So I was like, man, I hope they pick this guy, Chris Bryant, that I just read about. Next day, second pick in the draft, he falls to them. They pick him. So I'm dying to collect his first Cubs autograph card. So a year later, we find out it's going to be in 2014 Bowman. So they release Bowman that year, and he's a redemption in it. And this is the first time I went crazy on a box of cards. I think I bought like 15 boxes that year, so a case in total, but spread out. Some of them were jumbos, some of them were regulars, trying to hit a Chris Bryant auto. Because remember, I was still a little bit newer to the hobby. I thought you had to hit the auto. I didn't realize it would have been so much cheaper to just buy one when they were $200, So I spend all this time trying to hit his auto. I don't. Multiple times I hit this Mookie Betts guy that no one's heard of for the Red Sox, but didn't hit a single Chris Bryant auto. And finally, later in the year, one of my good friends on Twitter, Mike in Vegas, he actually tweeted something at Chris Bryant, and Chris Bryant sent him a game-used bat. This was when he was still in the minors. And Mike was so grateful. He's actually shown me the DMs between him and Chris, and he was offering Chris. He's like, "What can I do for you? I work in this industry. Can I help you out? Get access to these things?" Just trying to be helpful. And Chris is like, "No, man, I'm seriously just happy to send it to you." So he's like, "Look, I'm going to pay it forward." So this was a $500 card at the time, and he's like, "Look, Ivan, Chris just sent me a game used bat, so I'm going to send you one of mine." And he sent it to me just out of the goodness of his heart, because he knew how much I was chasing him. I went and got it graded. It graded 9, 5, 10, and it's my absolute favorite card. And the set still has so many stories from it for me, from the hobby shops I visited that year. I literally bought boxes from 4 different states of this Bowman.
Is that when you were doing the? Is that when you were doing the watch the breaks? You were doing the Ivan, the videos. Watch the. Is that was right? That was the product, right? That you were chasing a lot of the time.
Yep. Yep, it was Chris Bryant, and we actually Houdini Cheap Fun Breaks makes a cameo appearance in one, ripping 2014 Bowman, and then the capper to the story is the Mookie Betts part. I literally had 2 autos and a refractor auto numbered to 499 that I sold, like graded all of them 9.5s and just unloaded them the next year for under $100 each. I think it was 60 for each of the regulars and 75 for the number to 499. So the story just keeps on growing, because if you know what that card is worth now, it's like, but still my absolute favorite card, and the one that really got me back into hardcore collecting and understanding baseball and baseball prospecting, and then just so many friends connected through that set. So that's it.
I remember like you are pretty much synonymous with that card, I'd say. Like obviously it was your profile pic for a long time, but yeah, I think I started following you like around that chase, honestly.
Yeah. I do still have, technically Chris Bryant is still in my profile pic. I don't know where that card is though.
Oh no, yeah, with the cartoon.
Yeah, it's Chris Bryant shaving my head. A little artist named Kevin Gust makes custom cards from Project 2020 cards, and so he made that for me. So
that is fantastic.
But yeah, so that's everybody, right? I don't pass it off to anybody.
No, I think
Nick. Dizzle.
Oh, there he is, the Dizzle.
Man, I feel like I'm making a game time decision on a dinner menu right now because I've been so indecisive. This must be what my wife feels like when she's ordering dinner. It's tough. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna relatable.
Just like
I'm gonna go with EX2000.
Oh yeah,
for a couple of reasons. Like when I got back into collecting basketball, there was 2 Kobe's that I had to have that from my childhood that I didn't, and one was his finest rookie, because everyone today will say that Topps Chrome was, but nah, finest was the rookie to go after. But EX2000 for a couple of reasons. So at the same time, I actually kind of did what I do now. I super collected Dennis Rodman because up until Kobe, like Rodman was my dude. I was the basketball player that was only good because he was a football player, and I was a bully, and that was what the worm was. And so I actually, funny enough, my dad had a tire shop that was like 3 blocks away from our card shop. And he'd pay me $5 an hour to come and pull all the weeds and not vacuum, weed whack and mow and everything around the tire shop. So I go there, I work for like 5 hours, it gives me $25. I go to this place that's called Osco, which is like Walgreens. And they had these things called Pokemon. And I was like, here, so I'm going to buy all these things. I have no idea what these are. I go rip them and I run straight over to the card shop because I know that they were selling them. And I was like, what will you give me in trade for all of these? Now, keep in mind, we're talking about EX2000, so it's 96. Like now I'm thinking back, it's probably was a terrible move on my part, but alas, I go in there. I was like, what will you give me in trade? They're like, we'll give you like $100, $120. Well, they had a Dennis Rodman credentials in there for like $60. And I was like, I'm taking that. And then I think I probably got some packs. But now, like as I jump back into the hobby, or probably at 25, I look back at like some of the inserts and I'm like, man, that's actually what I really loved. And EX2000 I think is unmatched from an insert perspective. Stardate, take that insert set and put it up against any other with inside of basketball. It doesn't matter the year. Yeah, it's visually the best looking cards there are. And then new additions. It's a super simple die cut. They were tough to have centered. Like looking back, like I think that was a really tough product to execute from a manufacturing standpoint.
Yeah.
Like the window on base cards had two levels. You had an acetate inlay. Like I think the craftsmanship on those cards kind of stood alone at its time. So that's my favorite set.
Back in the 90s, I feel card brands were just trying to like one up each other with like, oh, well, you're going to do this. We're going to put windows in our cards. We're going to put, it was like they were literally just trying anything.
But that didn't stop in the 90s, right? Like, I think I found like some like Kobe memory Twitter page or whatever, and they had a thing where they had like the Panini digital cards that had like a movie built in the thing. They'd like plug them in with a USB cord.
Yeah.
Like, I totally forgot about those things. I was like, oh, right there, those things. They're awesome.
HRX.
Yeah, HRX.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's an NFT right there.
It's
right?
a physical NFT.
The first NFT.
That's what Top Shot should do. Is when you want to cash your thing out, be like, here, send me my little brick with my movie.
Yeah, send me my little brick number to 15,000.
Right? iPod Nanos weren't that big. Come on now.
Hilarious. All right. Well, I think I am the last one, right? Everyone else is gone. Well, I think I'm another predictable one because I rant about this set and retweet anybody that tags me in any card, even if it's a base nobody. I just think Metal Universe, like again, going back to those 90s cards, when I feel like creativity in the marketplace was just at its peak because there were so many competitors. There was competition. It's not like now where Panini can just make whatever, and it's like, oh well, there's no competition with the licensing. But like, I don't know, Metal Universe. So I'll show you some of the ones I have. Like this stuff card, like the details in this, and I'll like there's TV screens in the back with his face on it. Like, and like that's just, it's rad. And like I don't even know what the hell's going on. Like, I don't know if he's like in microtubes or like zoomed in grass. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Kemp's in space because, of course, all the cards are just so badass. Like, I mean,
I like that one. That one's awesome.
Ray Allen in a meteor shower throwing a flame ball. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's unbelievable art and like, I don't know. It's just amazing stuff. The Jordan has the same design as this, I think, from this set, but like there's the penny. And then even like the insert, I don't know if they're inserts or subsets or what, but like metal shredders are super, super cool. The nuts and bolts were super, super cool. Like all of them have like just the texture is amazing. The attention to detail is amazing. The fresh foundations with the graffiti in the back. Got a few of the Iversons. And then obviously there's like the bigger ones. Like the Kobe one is pretty iconic. And some of these have really gathered steam as far as value and stuff. Like even this Jordan.
Oh, that one's awesome.
Yeah.
Jordan's amazing. Mine, they actually mislabeled this one a precious metal gem, which I'm not really sure why, but it makes me want to just hold it for a while. I'm just gonna let this one.
eBay one of one.
Yeah, I was like really confused when they sent that back. I was like, wait, is it? Missing something. And then there was like a championship edition, which I'm still not quite sure the story on this. And as like a huge like lover of this set, I should probably know these details. But in the same year, they released a championship version, which is more like photographic. So like here,
it's like more of the local stuff.
Yeah, like I saw Evan Baker the other day.
That's like a downtown card,
I mean, they're honestly just so freaking cool. And then here's a couple more inserts. So this is a Fleer Metal insert. The inserts were so freaking badass. Like, and here's another metal shredders. But like the details are just insane. Like if you look at this, there's all these like metal robots trying to cut his arms and legs off, but he's just evading them. It's like, I don't know.
Matt, do you follow the company that did all of the artwork for those?
No.
I want to say they're on Instagram, and like they give all of like these Easter eggs of like, here was the backstory of how we designed this. Man. Like this was our muse for this. I'll find it, dude. You'll go nuts over it.
Really I would waste a lot of time.
I will for sure.
Yeah, let me know too.
I love those little details and things like that. Yeah. I would really be fascinated by that. Like, and even just honestly, the original Fleer Metal set, like the 95, 96 one, like it was just a different set, like the foil fronts and stuff. Like I was into it. And then when they started getting more imaginative with it, like it was mixing that comic book world with sports. And I don't know, it's kind of taken like, I guess if you were to look at the OG Skybox into just a whole new stratosphere, so that was my favorite.
Can I do honorable mention for
absolutely. Yeah, I'll honorable mention mine really quick. WNBA Prism out now. Go ahead and get your boxes.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. I'll be just another preview. I'll be ripping a case here soon for the cardboard world.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get Nick to get his case here soon. Trying to do it before the season starts. Hey,
Yo, speaking of which, when did the 3 cases that were listed on eBay for $4,200 go bye-bye? I checked it today because I haven't been able to find one. The cheapest one up was Blowout, and I think there's 6,700 of.
Oh my God. Just a reminder, I was buying them at 21. Woo!
The first one that I bought from Montana, 1,800.
I know, that's insane. Honestly, someone told me they were pre-sale for like 1,200 or something like that, and I was like, I would have bought all of them. Like, that's insane. 21, like 12. Anyway, yeah, that's for another day. Anyway, WNBA Prison Break's coming soon. Go ahead, Drew.
Oh, I was just gonna say one of my favorite subsets is Bazooka.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just like is that Fleer? What is that?
I think it is Fleer.
I think it's Fleer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Murph has one on him. He has that the Kobe one, right?
I've got all the Bazooka.
Yeah.
I just my 2003 LeBron comic strip graded a 9, so it's coming back. 9. It's $1,000 difference between a 9 and 10, so I'm a little peeved at PSA about that. But I've got the Wade. You mean the 03 Bazooka set?
Yeah. They have like they have the gold trim one. They have the thick card, and they have the mini card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's just a cool set. Like that's a really underappreciated subset too. Like no one really brings that up for like 03 cards, and I think that's like a premier card almost.
Yeah, and it's still very affordable, and just I'm really big on the comic strips. Just I guess because I've got. But I just thought it's such a cool little addition to add to the sport. I mean, the sports card is the bubble gum, and then you get the comic strip. It's phenomenal. Yep. It's great stuff.
Love it. Well, thank you guys for sharing your favorite sets with everybody today. It was again great education and learning more about you guys as collectors and very interesting stuff. So, thanks for that, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.